Hello everybody and welcome to my final for the level design course. As always, hello, I'm Andre Gracias. I'm part of Team Teal, and today we're going to look at my Project 4. So for Project 4, I decided to go with the thing we already had, the pre-given map. That way I find it's more enjoyable if I have to work off of something that's already been given to me, because it's more interesting that way. It's more of a challenge to sort of think outside of the box design-wise and sort of sit down and really work it out. So here we are. Here's my map. So I updated this room a little bit. I closed off this entire area over here in rocks, so that way it gives us more of like a cave type feeling. I wanted to unify what the space felt like, and I decided to go with like Lost Temple inside of a volcano. That was the feeling that I wanted to get, and I think I did a pretty good job. The rocks and all of the textures are really nice. You sort of get this like ethereal, magical feeling from everything, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So first things first, you can see like there's big rocks in your way, and you're like, oh well, okay, well, so you turn around and then you can see that there's this puzzle on the wall here. It says, first comes the mind, intelligent and imaginative. Next comes the home, loving and protective, and last comes the blade, meant to conquer both. So, you know, you can walk over here and stand on these little platform things, but the door doesn't open. So what you got to do is you have to hit them in the right order. The helmet represents the mind, so you touch that. Then the brick represents the home, so you touch that. And then the sword represents the blade, and touch that. And then, biggity boom, the door opens. It's a pretty simple puzzle. Requires a little bit of reading, some, touch-based stuff. It's not too bad. Pretty easy it's the first thing in the game, so I figured that's probably, the puzzle should be easy. So then we get to the next puzzle. So, only by the way of love will the way be found. So you can kind of look around the room, you sort of see like, there's these cool spotlights on the ground, you've got these like really cool like God Ray things coming in. You can see like your goal is up there. You can kind of see like it looks all gold and glowy, like there's like treasure up there or something like that. And you can kind of see that there are these big like kind of like daises up in the sky. You know, a big red one, a big green one, and a big blue one. So the puzzle is the only way forward. Only by the way of love will the way be found. So what could that possibly mean? Well, if you remember from the other puzzle, the text on the way the home is blue, and the home is loving and protective. So, eventually the players either figure that out, or you could brute force this by just blasting every one of the eyes until one of the doors opens. But you sort of figure out that since the text for love is blue, then clearly the blue eye must be the one that you have to shoot a fireball through. So there you go, and boom, the door opens and we're good to go. So here you can see my favorite of all of my little things. You get this like nice little platforming section, sort of like in the mouth of this like volcano type thing. This setting, I like the space a lot actually. It's inspired a couple other cool gaming ideas. I was originally going to make the lava flow, like it was going to move, but there was a lot of problems with that texture. So it's just a glowy emissive. There is a spotlight in here, but that's mostly so that way the top of the rocks are lit up, but the emissive itself would actually light up the space just fine. So you got to make your way across these like floating rocky platforms as they, I fell off. And if you die, well, you just pop right back to the beginning, and it's a quick walk. There are checkpoints later, but the distance between the start of the map and the platforming section is so small that I didn't feel the need to put a checkpoint like at the mouth of that or anything like that. You can also tell that the level does not reset. You actually do respawn. The game puts you back at the player start point when you die, and there's a big kill volume on the underside of this map. That will, if you fall off, you die. Basically, to save the player from falling into infinity, into the horrible abyss down below, but also so that way it makes sense. You can kind of see like it looks like this big craggy lava mountain. It looks really cool, especially from like this angle. You kind of get this like really cool feeling of like all this like lava, and it's like this abandoned space. It's really cool. You can sort of, if you look down off the rocks, you can see like it flows down into like more rocks down there, things like that. I really like this entire area. It's really, really cool. I'm really happy with how my visual design turned out. But the puzzle design, there are a couple things that I wish I could have gotten to work that they just were out of my depth, and you know, the replacements are fine, but you know, it's the kind of thing where it's like, you know, it sucks that I didn't get to do all the things that I wanted to do. So after you make it past this little thing here, you touched an invisible checkpoint, which is like right here-ish, and you can see all these targets. So you know, you can see the doors is closed. You can't walk through it. So you fire a fireball and you try to hit one of the targets. And I wanted to get rid of this stupid arc because it makes it impossible to aim. But come on, go through the shield. Boom, there you go. So every time you hit a shield, one of the little things gets destroyed. And you basically just need to destroy all the little things, which unfortunately, again, the stupid arc makes it really, really difficult to do so. This part's always a pain in the ass. There we go. Alright. You know, it's basically just a shooting puzzle. There's a blocking volume here, so you can't walk off the edge on accident. I find that getting as close to the blocking volume as possible makes the aiming a little bit less tedious. So you shoot out these little targets. Come on, hit the target. Come on. There you go. Alright, cool. You have to shoot like a little bit above the target because of the arc. Another thing that, you know, if I had more time just like in my life and had more expertise with Unreal, I probably would have removed it. But you know, that'll be something for down the road, I guess. This will be a good what's it called, profile piece, something that, you know, shows my design chops and things like that. So we got 2 targets left. Let's go ahead and just hit this one. Yeah, there you go. And then the last one, biggity boom, and the door opens. All right, there you go. Sort of see it slide out of the way. Now you can kind of get a sneak peek into the next little challenge here by looking over there. So now we're sort of like in like this, like the mouth of the volcano, and you know, you can see there are these giant like lava blocks flying down. If you touch them, you die, and then you'll respawn over by where the targets were. You know, I find it the safest thing to do is to sort of wait. The first one's pretty easy. If you time it right, you can sort of run all the way through without getting hit. The second one's a little trickier. The timing on it's off purposely. It's you know, that's the part of the challenge. The second block in the sequence is faster than the other 2 blocks, and it's easy to forget that it's like that. You know, I take the cautious approach of just waiting for the blocks to come and hit the ground, things like that. But then you're done. That's all 5 of the challenges, and you sort of get up here and you realize like, oh, the treasure, the walls are made of gold. Oh my God, I can't believe it. You know, we're gonna be rich. Whee! Yeah, awesome. You kind of get a cool look into like this, like the God Eye room, things like that. But overall, you know, I like what I came up with. We'll get into the design stuff now because, you know, there's not a better time to do it. A couple things that I really like. We'll start from the beginning. That way it's sort of easier to understand what I was thinking. So in this first room, I always like the first puzzle should be something simple, something the player can accomplish pretty quickly, something that doesn't take a lot of thinking, but it shouldn't be hard, you know. And I try to make a combat section in here where you had to like kill a couple bugs, but I hate this stupid animation because you can't, like, the attack doesn't go off unless you hold it, and it's just dumb. It's a dumb model. A lot of the things about this basic character are pretty stupid, but I didn't know, like, I didn't have time to sit down and research how to fix it because the other blueprints were taking up way too much of my time. I was really busy with, you know, capstone stuff and whatever, but that and this animation is terrible. But something that this character does do well is shoot fireballs, move, and then a lot of the stuff I designed relied on the player's brain, you know, sort of making them think, making them understand puzzles, you know, doing mechanical stuff, and a lot of it turned out really well. I like this puzzle personally because I like that you can color code like the words when you make a text file, and I liked using that, like, this is colorful, and it's sort of, you're supposed to, like, you know, have that in your head when you go into the next room and you see all these colors and you're like, oh man, like this room looks really cool when you first walk into it. I really like the way that these, like, spotlights look, and the spotlights on the ground, they sort of create this like cool unison, like rainbow color thing on the ground. The way these eye things look, they're the shields from the war spoil meshes. They just look awesome. Like, they look really cool when they're lit up like that. They sort of look like eyes, like up in the sky. They're really cool looking. But this space looks really cool to me, and I really like it. This puzzle is also, it can get pretty tricky. During my playtesting, I had a couple players have a really rough time, like, figuring it out. But they eventually figure it out, or they brute force it, which, you know, it's hard to design a game that you can't brute force. I've played, like, you know, Tomb Raider games, you can brute force a lot of those puzzles, BioShock games, things like that. The only way to not do that is to halt progression or halt, like, achievement of something by doing that, but I didn't have the luxury of, like, doing that here, just because of the, you know, the scale of the model. The scope of the project just wouldn't allow me to design a puzzle that causes you to have to go a different way if you messed up or something like that. But I really like the space. The space is really cool. The shields are really cool, and I like the way that these puzzles work. This platforming section is a nightmare, though. I can't tell you the number of times I've failed this thing. I've gotten pretty good at it. A lot of it comes down to the animations on this basic character are terrible. The character double jumps a lot. Like, if you watch, like, when I jump, sometimes she does that, and then you can't jump during that, and I don't know what's causing it. Like, I don't know, like, what action I'm taking that causes her to do that double jump. Like, if it's like I'm holding down the button too long and she, like, touches the ground or something. I'm not sure. But I like this space too. This angle, like, if you come out to this rock, I did a lot of my designing from this perspective, actually. I like that the whole thing kind of looks like this, like, volcanic mountain. And, like, you know, you got to see, like, there's a cool temple on the inside, and you sort of get this impression that there's, like, treasure and things like that inside. But then you come out here and it's, like, desolate. It's, like, abyssal, and it's, like, empty as far as the eye can see, and it just looks torn up and destroyed. I really like these rocks. These rocks are the coolest thing to do, and every one of these things is constructed out of just, like, a bunch of stretched out rocks, basically. I use them to make walls, floor, everything. I wanted it to feel as unified as possible. And the best way to do that is to use the same building blocks for everything. You know, agree or disagree, it's on you, but that's how I feel about, you know, a lot of my visual design decisions, which is something that I'm very good at. It's one of my expertise is I'm not very good at coding. I'm not very good at, like, doing a lot of the other things of game design, but I am very good at unified game, like, visuals. I'm very good at keeping the project fluid and going in the right direction. It's why I'm a producer, not a level designer. I did have fun in this class, though. I learned a lot about you know, design choices. I apologize about the clackiness of my keyboard. It's a mechanical keyboard, so it clacks a little bit when I click it. The target puzzle is a lot of fun. That's probably the most haywire blueprint I have, actually. It increments a bunch of stuff. There's, like, a game controller hidden in the level somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. I think it's on, like, that side of the level or something like that. You can see one of my testing targets. I don't think this one actually works, but yeah, no, it doesn't work. But it's I should have removed that, but I didn't. But that's all right. This target section was really cool. It was the first thing I got up and running. It's basically just a big trigger region. And then whenever one of the shields dies inside of the trigger region counts down. And then when there's nothing inside of it, it destroys itself, and that's what opens the door. It's pretty cool. I like the space. Overall, it's pretty cool. I like this area a lot too, because it kind of gives you that impression of, like, it's like you're inside the volcano. These rocks are, you know, burning hot from all the lava and all the stuff, and the big death cubes look cool. And stuff like that. And see, you can see, like, I got hit by a death cube, but I spawned back by the targets. That's a respawn system. Like, I could jump off here, and then I should pop back up right there. There you go. See, pretty easy. That system's actually really complicated. It uses a lot of interfaces and stuff. I had to follow 4 or 5 guides on the forums to figure out how to do that. The first one was how to use interfaces. Then it was, like, inheritance. I watched a lot of walkthroughs to get that respawn system's the most complicated thing I've ever coded in my entire life. It basically, like, whenever you die, the game checks a bunch of variables that are set by bumping into these checkpoint items, basically. The checkpoint item sets the player's start position to its position instead, and then when you die, it just puts you back at player start, but you have to remember to update player start with the checkpoint so you'll pop up at the beginning again. But I figured that no player really wants to go back to do that jumping the platforming section ever again once they're done doing it. I don't like doing it more than once. It's pretty brutal. Oh, damn it! That one's tricky. You can get that one screwed up. But the block puzzles are pretty cool. You can see them. You can see the workings on them from out here. Mostly because like I know they're there, so you can kind of look. You can see they're basically rigged up to matinees. They're all animated to move up and down at different speeds. And it creates this like sort of like choppy like blade sort of thing, or like a bunch of thwomps from Mario. It's a cool puzzle. It's not what I wanted. I wanted this area to be a bunch of like moving platforms and invisible platforms, where like you would stand on a platform, it would make the next one appear, but you only had like a limited amount of time before the platform underneath you like disappeared and you fell and died. But there was just complications. It was very difficult to like get the blueprints to actually function the way I wanted them to. And a lot of stuff just didn't go right from the start. And I tried so desperately to make it work all the way up to like last week, and then I scrapped it. I was like, no, I know it's cool and I know I really, really, really want to make it work, but it just didn't. It just would not work, and it would not function, and it had to go for the sake of the project and the sake of my sanity. It had to go. So you know, it's a disappointment, but it's a disappointment I'm willing to live with. Because this puzzle is not bad. This like obstacle isn't bad. It just isn't. It isn't what I wanted, you know. But that's okay. But yeah, so that's my map. I hope you guys like it. I look forward to seeing what you guys say about it. I know the video's long, but I just rolled my dev talk into my map walkthrough. I've been doing it the whole class, and it's been okay so far. It makes more sense for me to do it this way. Writing out like a big dev talk, and when I could just tell you and show you the map while I'm doing it, makes more sense to me. But I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys had a good class. I hope you guys learned something. To Professor Salen, thank you for, making the class accessible. The last teacher I had, as Professor Salen knows, but some of you guys might not, I failed this class previously because my design decisions were not what was the center stage for a lot of stuff. It was a lot of blueprints and a lot of like, if you don't do the blueprints right, you're not going to get credit for whatever. And this class did not feel like that. This class was a lot more like, you're here to design some stuff, not to learn to code in Unreal Engine, which I appreciated, and it let me sort of stretch my wings and get a chance to actually design some stuff, because I don't really get to do it anymore. I've taken on mostly a producing role in my actual work and things like that. But the class was a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate the experience. So thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. So, bye.